There's no denying it, there are plenty of states in America that are full of excitement. These are the places where there's an energy in the air, and where a young, vibrant community is actively involved. Unfortunately, not all states are so lucky. In fact, lots of states are kinda boring. You know the places, the ones where seemingly everyone has an AARP card, and the most exciting thing they do all day is post a picture of their grandchild on Facebook. Like Idaho, for instance. In our latest analysis, we found that the Gem State was the most boring state in all of America. But don't feel bad if you're a resident of Idaho. There are plenty of other boring, lackluster states in the nation as well. Here they are. Try not to jump out of your seat with excitement. Rest assured that we didn't use personal opinion when it comes to what classifies a state as boring or exciting. We crunched actual numbers to figure out which states are statistically more boring. And keep in mind, we aren't saying these places aren't beautiful or that there are plenty of exciting things to do in all of them. We're measuring the demographics of the people who live there, not the amenities. So in today's video we're going to show you 10 most boring states in America. But before starting the video, I want to request we put our best efforts to create our every single video, so please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's start. Number 10, Maine. We round out the list of the most boring states in America with Maine, a really pretty place for 12 months a year. With the current population of 1.3 million, these states don't have many excitement. Florida is the only older state in the country. Funny thing is, you either stay in Maine and brave the cold each winter, or you move somewhere warmer like Florida. But when 1 in 6 people in your state qualifies for handicapped parking, and more than half are married, it simply has to be really quiet after 8 p.m. in every nook and cranny outside of the Portland metro area. Number 9, Oklahoma. With the current population of 3.8 million and percentage of married households at 51%, Oklahoma is also a boring state in America. For some people, thunderstorms and tornadoes are exciting, right? Across the board, okay really is just okay, fun-wise. The Sooner State isn't in the top 10 for any one boring factor. Which means the population is Oklahoma is just kinda boring, not mind-numbingly so. Number 8, South Dakota. With the current population of 834,000 and population over age of 65 is 52%, South Dakota is also a boring state in America. How in the world is South Dakota not more boring than North Dakota? They're both sparsely populated, but North Dakota has a much lower percentage of people with kids. The fact is, outside of Mount Rushmore, there really isn't a lot to do in South Dakota unless you live in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Pierre. That's about 3/4 of the entire population of the state right there. If you don't live in a big South Dakota city, you've not much to do to pass your time, and hardly anyone with which to do so. Number 7, Nebraska. With the current population of 1.8 million and percentage of married households at 53%, Nebraska is also a boring state in America. Earlier, we mentioned how Nebraska has been called the best state in the nation due to several factors. But fun? Not a chance. While it's a fairly young state, 53% of Nebraskans are hitched, which means lots of curling up on the couch binge watching on Netflix. And this is the 8th least densely populated place in the nation, too. There are probably people in Scottsbluff scratching their heads, wondering how their home state didn't rank higher on this list. Number 6, Montana. With the current population of 1.06 million and population over age of 65 is 16%, Montana is also a boring state in America. Montana is the 4th lowest in terms of households with kids at 28%. So, while the population of Montana is one of the oldest and most married, people in Montana have held off from bearing children. So, a night out doesn't have to involve a babysitter as often here as it does in most other states. That can go a long way. But don't plan on running into too many people on a Friday night. As you can imagine, this is the 3rd least densely populated place in America, where you just might see more deer than people on your drive into town. Number 5, Arkansas. If you search on Google by writing Arkansas, you will probably see many good things about Arkansas, but this is not so true. Arkansas ranks 29th among the 50 states in total area, but, except for Louisiana and Hawaii, it is the smallest state west of the Mississippi River. Arkansas' current population is around 2.9 million and percentage of married households is 51%. If you're a college student, Arkansas is probably non-stop fun. If you're a regular guy with a wife and 2 kids at home, Arkansas is probably Snoozeville. While Arkansas doesn't rank in the bottom 10 in any one particular category, across the board, it scores consistently low on our boring scale. The worst of it, 1 in 6 residents is collecting Social Security. Number 4, Iowa. With the current population of 3.1 million and percentage of married households at 52%, Iowa is also a boring state in America. In this state, more than 15% of people are over age of 65. The website HomeSnacks ran the data on the best states to live in America, and the top 2 states were Nebraska and Iowa. So a place with great jobs, solid schools, and low crime is certainly appealing to many Americans. But fun? Sheesh. Iowa is certainly not a fun place to live. The population is the 8th oldest in the nation, and there are only 3 other states where people are married at a higher rate. For a large number of people in Iowa, excitement is getting a truck stuck in the mud or a night out at Denny's. Number 3, Kansas. With the current population of 2.8 million and percentage of married households at 53%, Kansas is also a boring state in America. If you've ever driven across Kansas on your way to your actual final destination, you get it, this place is practically empty. But it isn't just the low population density and long stretches of farmland that can put you to sleep. More than half of the families in Kansas tie the knot, and a third of homes have kids at home. Both factors indicate that a large majority of the people of Kansas are content with a night at home, poring over homework. And most Midwesterners know, the more fun Kansas City is actually in Missouri. Number 2, Utah. Sure, Utah has some great skiing, and some really pretty landscapes can take your breath away. But the residents of Utah? Pretty boring. With the current population of 2.8 million and percentage of married households at 56%, Utah is also a boring state in America. You won't find a population in America with more married households with kids than in Utah. 56% of people are married, and a whopping 42% of homes have at least 1 child at home. Face it, Utah, not many of you have time to get out and cut a rug once in a while. The only saving grace for Utah is they are the 2nd youngest residents in the nation, where only 10% are over the age of 65. The oldest state, Florida, is double that. If Utah's population wasn't so young, it would have won this by a landslide. Number 1, Idaho. Welcome to Snoozeville, America. The data has spoken, and it looks like Idaho is the most boring state in our great nation. Is that a shocker? Let's find out. With the current population of 1.6 million and percentage of married households at 55%, Idaho is also a boring state in America. What makes this such a boring place? First off, more than half of the population is married, and at 55%, Idaho has the 2nd highest rate of hitched individuals in the nation. As we all know, married people are far less exciting than single people are. It's just a fact. On top of that, more than a third of the population has kids at home. That means an exciting night for many Idaho families is trying to figure out who broke the iPad. Finally, there are only 19 people per square mile in Idaho. There's a great benefit to having wide open spaces, but let's be honest, solitude and excitement are practically opposites. But we're sure that Idahoans will probably agree that things might be boring where they live, but they like it just the way it is. Thank you very much. If you're measuring the states where a high percentage of the population is old, married and with kids, and where there are far less people per square mile, this is an accurate list. On a list like this, there are usually no winners, but since America isn't necessarily the most boring nation, the states on this list can at least take solace that there are, in fact, more boring places around the globe. Where are the most exciting states? Comment below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.